Alright everybody, hello and welcome to another set, or two in Alchemy League, as I always say. It's actually two sets. We do two sets. Each set is play L2, so therefore it's 4 games. I try to select the matches so that a different map is featured each time. This is an Age of Empires 2 competition, Alchemy League Season 7. So in the first set we've got the Otter one versus Bender. And they're going to play on Seasons and Graveyards. And in the second set, we've got Favre Forever and Oladushek. And they are going to play on Prairie and Shipwreck. So, in terms of how the maps were selected, these two sets are from different rounds. So, the Otter and Bender played in round 6. And Favre Forever and Oladushek played in round 7. And that's important because each round has a different featured map. And so that helps us make sure that we get at least a different map between those two rounds. And then I check to make sure that the map that's remaining doesn't overlap either. The map selection process is simple. They pick the map of the round, the featured map, and then they take turns discarding until only one map remains. And that's what they play in Game 2. Although there's less focus on it, they do have a civilization draft. This is the civilization draft between Otter 1 and Bender. They have 5 admin bands, This just happens randomly at the start. The players don't do anything. The tool just bans them automatically. And then they each globally ban 2 civilizations. And then they pick 2, snipe 1, and then pick 2 more. So choices for the otter one that we could see are Japanese, Lithuanians, and Persians. Some pretty solid hybrid map civilizations for sure. And then, hey, the otter one is actually here in chat. Welcome, Otter. Bender has the option of Burmese, Saracens, and Koreans. The options for Favre Forever and Oladushek will be Chinese, Lithuanians, and Magyars versus Sicilians, Huns, or Italians. Snipe is after 3 picks. Ah, okay. Thank you, Otter. So after 3 picks, then they do the snipe, and then they get 1 more pick. So having introduced the setup, or kind of the rules, let's talk about the players. I've been working on rejiggering this. This is the sheet that's left over from the legacy calculator, but it's going to be good. We're going to have historical players are going to start to accumulate historical elos. So ranking that is actually awarded in the same way that elo on the ladder is awarded. So it keeps track of your wins and losses throughout the league, and then adjusts the elo that it started you at based on your performance. Otherwise, Georgians couldn't be sniped here. It's pretty confusing to show both drafts at the start. I may have to go over it again. So we're starting this off at Alchemy League Season 8, so technically these players, since we're still in Season 7, don't have any elo history yet, and we're relying entirely on their ranked elo. But eventually, the final elo, the final tournament elo, if you will be some sort of combination between their historical tracker that we have for performance within our league, as well as performance within ranked. And it's not just like ranked elo 0.3 it's not like the average of maximum and current. There's a very complex calculation that goes into it, but based on some feedback that we got, we felt that it was important to combine those. So anyway, this is just going to give you a flavor of what the new reports are going to look like. It's going to be a single sheet that you download. The first tab is going to have the round by round, give you all of your opponents for the different rounds as the handicap. So this looks familiar. This is a new sheet. It's basically the report is going to say what it found based on your history in 1v1 versus your history playing ranked. So it's going to be your ranked history versus your league history, and it's going to come up with a final elo based on that number. Player summary, this isn't really changing. This is more so just to keep track of how many Smurf accounts and visible accounts a player has, and whether or not they tried to conceal elo by not disclosing Smurf accounts to us. It also keeps track of the full number of visible and full games, and the ranked elo history from that. And then this is the apparent. So this the purpose of this sheet. And you see that there's a bunch of numbers here. This is not really processed and finished like the ranked full. But this is basically what elo it would have come up with if it wasn't able to find any Smurf accounts. And it took only the accounts that were provided by the player at their registration. So it basically calculates an elo for that. And then it calculates an elo for the actual skill level that it found from through all accounts. And then it takes the difference between those, and it determines based on that difference how deceptive, with elo concealment, how deceptive is this player trying to be. And it looks like the biggest guy is Chipmunk with 17 points, which is, nothing. Usually people are like trying to conceal hundreds of elo. And some people here are actually like, nah, this is an irrelevant account. This is just another account that I have, but I'm going to include it for good measure, even though it makes me actually look worse. So some people are moving in the other direction. So anyway, this is the final sheet that you're all familiar with. But it's just based on ranked history. It's not based on league participation. So we're going to see the Otter one versus Bender, and those guys are over here. So Bender is 1,400 according to our seating. A little over 1,440-ish. And the Otter one is 1,640. So the Otter one is definitely the heavily favored player in this first set, it seems like our league tends to attract a lot of guys like that are between 1900 and 2K1, which is good, but I'm really trying to find a lot of people down here to play in the Alchemy League, particularly like down here, because we've seen it in the past. A lot of people just assume, oh, I'm not good enough to win anything at an Age of Empires 2 tournament. But last season, Chipmunk, if I remember correctly, was either a winner or the big winner. And here's Chipmunk below 1400. So it's really not about Chipmunk. Chipmunk is never going to be put up against Niaz or something like that. It's about how well did Chipmunk do versus expectations. And we have sort of the ability to, in this case, Chipmunk's the example, but for all players, we have the ability to compare how well they actually did against how well they were expected to do. But we got to make sure that we have an even more accurate ELO calculation in order to make those predictions. So that's the point of this new kind of format for the data that I was showing you. So anyway, we've got the Otter one, who is 1600s versus Bender, who is 1400s. Oops, drag that in there. And then in the second game, we have Favre Forever, who's 2K1, against Oladushek, who is 1900s. He's been 2K before. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a pretty exciting set. Now let's go into the game. Okay, so we're going to change the overlay here, so you guys don't need to watch me talk about it. And here we go. So we are on Seasons. And look at this. Bender has this really nice big forest right here. He's actually got a really convenient walling situation. Look at this. Look at the size of this. It even chops off this section of map nobody can get to right now. I don't know if Bender will build a lumber camp over here, but I would be severely tempted to. I mean, it's in the corner, right? So Seasons. It can be anything. It's kind of our mega random for this season. And the whole thing about the seasons is the river does different things depending on what the season is. And this season is spring, and the river is very flooded, and there aren't any crossings. So there's plenty of fish, but it's essentially a Team Islands type thing. Now, I don't know exactly, what the Otter One's take on it will be, but if there ever were a map this season of Alchemy League to go for a wonder victory on, this generation of seasons is the one, I have to say. But we'll probably see somebody land somebody else and have a really aggressive, either like a monk rush kind of land, or somebody will land and walk over the corner and build 6 stables. Don't know. That's usually how these sorts of maps play out. Bender is like clicking to the other side. He's trying to get over there. You can see his scout pacing, but he can't really find it. Let's take a look at the Otter One's Fog of War. The Otter One hasn't really tried to figure out what the river's doing yet. He's pushing deer. So I say that this gives Bender an advantage, right? Because Bender's trying to get over to the other side of the river, and he can't find a way. So that's going to tell Bender that this is the generation of seasons where the river is entirely non-walkable. And that could affect how he plays. Let's talk about civilizations. So, Koreans versus Lithuanians. Both these civilizations are pretty nasty in their own way. Double-click the flags to show text and Vilk. Oh, right. Sorry, I always forget about that. Click on this one, too. Thank you, Otter, for reminding me about that one. So I would say that the Koreans are a very defensive civilization. They're an old civilization. Otter One has come over here to dock. I don't know if the Otter One has discovered the lack of crossing yet, or if he is just docking because he's like, all right, well, there's some fish, Yeah, so the Otter One has not discovered a lack of crossings like Bender has. He probably sees this and assumes that it's the version where there's an icy crossing. He's going to be able to walk over whenever he needs. He's still pushing in the deer. As soon as he's done pushing in the deer, he'll probably try and cross. So the Koreans, they're good with towers. They're good with walls. Actually, we could take a look at their technology tree. What Bender has available to him. They're stone miners. They work faster. This bonus, the archers, the skirms, the cav archers, the spearmen, and fire lancers cost less wood. That was added recently. Their warships don't require as much wood. So they've got great options for naval combat if it comes to it. Their archer and tower upgrades are free. Bombard tower requires chemistry. Wait, archer upgrades are free? Since when? So they get crossbow for free. Unique units, war wagon, the turtle ship. They get these Yupshong, giving their guard towers and keeps more range. And they get Shitkunchun. Rocket carts and turtle ships have additional range and fire more rockets, and their villagers have more line of sight. So could you guys imagine a scenario where Bender builds keeps all along the coastline, and he keeps the Otter one from invading him, and then he builds a wonder in the corner of the map, maybe this corner right here. Now, wouldn't that be a riot? The Otter one's already on 3 fish, so I think that Bender is already making a serious mistake. I don't know if you guys can tell what that mistake is. The Otter one has already clicked up to Feudal Age. So Bender knows that this map does not have doesn't have any crossings or anything like that. So he knows that he needs Navy to get to the other side. And what has he not built? He has not built a dock. So now the Otter one is sending fishing ships both sides. He's looking for the crossing. He's going to be disappointed not to find it. Where's the Otter one's scout, actually? He's just scouting his own side. I don't know that the Otter one has tried to cross. Oops. Maybe he hasn't tried to cross yet. It looked like he was trying to figure out where the crossings were. Alright, he's got another villager moving. He's got a villager moving down. He's going to try to build another dock. But I think that it is a mistake for Bender to have not docked yet. Bender is going up to the Feudal Age now, and he's small walling it. Otter 1 says, I was happy to see the autumn. Well, technically this is the spring version. The autumn version has the icy bridge. The spring version, that's when everything is rainy and flooded, the wet season they call it. And there are no crossings at all. Not even an ice crossing. The summer version is the one with the shallows, where the river started to get dry. Otter 1 says, last time I played it, I had full winter and was very surprised. Although these are autumn trees. So this is just an aesthetic choice from Biscuits to do the autumn trees. But regardless of what you call it, the Otter 1 was happy to see that he's not going to get invaded by land anytime soon. He can basically invest fully in water, and that will prevent his opponent. If the Otter 1 has control over this portion of the map, the river, then his opponent will not be able to come over here and mess with him. So they're going to have a little bit more passive of a game, but Bender is not going on. Bender is not going on the river at all. What's interesting is that Bender is still like small walling and stuff. He's got some stone within his wall, but fortunately for him, his gold is inside of the wall. And it's almost like Bender thinks that Otter 1 is going to land him, which would not be out of character for our audacious otter. I'm sure this is autumn according to Biscuits. Spring has an ice bridge. Well, yeah, I mean, you could be right. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. You could bring up the specification. Summer has shallows. Might be a good opportunity to do that, actually, right now. To bring up the specification. So Bender's basically, he's small-walled here. He just wants to go up to the Castle Age and make multiple town centers, it looks like. He knows that he's pretty well defended. Actually, he's coming out here with a villager. Maybe he's looking for a docking opportunity. Could be. Let's see. Let's take a look. Come over here, and the definitions, we click on Seasons, CSRM 06, and so definitions, here we go. The terrain and the channels. So there's a hard winter, a light winter, a spring, a summer, and an autumn. And it needs to be one of the ones with no bridges, and it needs to be water. So the bridge is navigable ice. So yeah, no bridges, water, warm beach. It's the autumn version. Dockable ships may sail freely, but land units cannot cross. Oh! Look at... Well, good thing we didn't miss it here. No, we didn't miss it. We didn't miss it. So the Otter one attempting a landing, but Bender is onto him. Bender knows that this is here. And it looks like there was a villager fight, and Bender's villager and his scout defeated Otter's scout. But now Otter has a stable that he's building. So let's see the fog of war. The Otter one has no idea where Bender's town is, actually. He spotted a villager over here, and he fought over here. So actually, the Otter one's probably going to assume that Bender's town is somewhere over here. But really, Bender's over here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Otter will find him regardless of where he is. Oh, yes, thank you. So Bender can't challenge this villager. This villager's full HP. His scout is weak, so all he can do is keep an eye on it. Yep, I got it. I got it. It's probably a little out of date, but I got it. There's some stream delay. So Bender has managed to build a dock, but the Otter one is working on destroying it. He's sending the... Alright, he's building a siege workshop, so he's going to try to chase these fire ships away with some siege weapons. So Bender, you know, he's sort of delaying getting up to the next stage. The Otter one has a big eco advantage in terms of... He's got 10 fishing ships. He's got 10 fishing ships. He's got control of the river. I think that... What is this? Oh, Bender has made some fire lancers. And the fire lancers are actually pretty good at killing the knight. And I guess Bender's going to pressure this area. Doesn't want to give Otter the foothold. But I think if you're Bender, right, and you're going to go down this route, and you're going to just say, you know what, I just don't like water. I'm just not going to deal with water. I'm going to let the Otter one get all the fish he wants. Then I think you really have to embrace it, right? You can't just, you know, try to dock later. It's just not going to work. The Otter one has 2 docks. He's got a huge advantage. He's got a landing here, which you can't keep track of. This is where you just solidify your control of water. And I say that you just build 5 town centers, and you just boom like a madman. And you keep doing this. Like you get a couple monks out here, and you convert anything that pops out of these stables, and you just play defensively. Oh, look at this! This rocket cart. It's actually surprisingly effective against fire ships. And Bender has built... He's built a transport ship of all things. Of all things to build. Why? What does Bender want with a transport ship? Maybe it was a misclick, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Why would Bender make a transport ship? That's... I don't know. Because I'm not under the impression that Bender has any particular need to get over here. Now, you know what'd be funny, actually, is if Otter made a transport ship. Actually, I think he's already got one. Otter sent a monk over, and he picked up the relics. He did a relic heist. The Otter one... I don't think the Otter one knows where this relic is. No, he doesn't. He does not know where this relic is. And then Otter went for a relic victory on the map. We've seen the Otter one go for relic victories before. Okay, but Bender going to use these rocket carts to chase off the fire ships. He's got a few fire lancers here. A knight does take a face full of rockets, but I think these knights are going to close the difference, or the distance, I should say. And they managed to snipe the rocket carts, which is unfortunate for Bender. He's got a villager left alive, but I don't know that the Otter one is... No, the Otter one is interested in getting away. Otter thinks that the plan was to do a landing with Fire Lancer and rocket carts. Maybe. Maybe. He does seem to have a lot of Fire Lancers. It seems like he's invested heavily in that. He destroyed one stable, and he's trying to keep up with these knights, and Bender calling the GG. I think that sounds right then. Maybe his plan to land with the rocket carts and the fire lancers didn't go the way that he thought it would, and so he called the GG. Maybe Bender's looking back on it and saying, oh, I don't know what I was thinking, right? I gave my opponent water control. That would actually make sense, because he sent his villager all the way over here to try to get a sneak dock, but it ran into Otter's landing. So I bet Bender was going for the sneak dock. He knew that he'd be giving up water control to his opponent, but it's okay because he'll make a sneak dock and he'll land with fire lancers and rocket carts. But I don't think that this was necessarily over. Just because on a map like this, like, Otter can have a hard time getting over here and landing and doing damage, even though he had a big eco lead. Can't really take advantage of that eco lead if you can't really do damage to your opponent because they're separated from you by terrain. He had to make the carts at home. Take a look at the statistics and then go on to the next recording. Otter with 12 kills, 8 deaths, 1 building raised, 1 building lost, slightly larger army of 13 versus 11. Otter's economy way larger because of the fishing ships. He had more stone collected, but Bender had more gold collected. Bender with the fast castle. I wonder if Bender's plan was, he picked the Koreans because he was going to do the fire lancer and rocket carts, but he was hoping for a crossing and he didn't get it. So he had the added expense and complexity of having to make a dock. It could be that Bender had chosen the strategy before even seeing the map layout, which in that case what Otter did was a good thing because he kind of punished for not adapting, if that's the case. But we don't know. Maybe, Bender saw it, thought it was an opportunity to go FC, sneak a villager and build a dock and a transport over in the corner. But Otter 1 was vigilant. So now we'll check out their second game. This one is on graveyards. So the first map, Seasons, made by Biscuits. Graveyards was made by Jasuki. Looks like we got the tropical Indian version with all of the jungle and shrines and everything. Oh, and they're actually pretty close together this time. That's nice. Usually they're like directly across from each other. We got all these plateau, right, with these preachy boys, some Indian ruins, maybe a relic here or there. More of the plateau down here. This is kind of more like a neutral area. I think there's too much fish, though. I think if Jasuki were to do it again, or if he were to modify it, it would be so that the pond has less fish. Because right now it's like do or die with this pond. Like you have to win this pond, it seems in order to win. I could be wrong. The pond is actually pretty close by, too. At least for the Otter one and for Bender. We got Bender as Burmese versus the Otter one's Persians. Otter one really likes Persians on this map. We've seen him play Persians on this before. I'm trying to think. It actually may have been the last cast. The Otter one made an army of Persian skirmishers and just flooded his opponent and slowed his opponent down. But I think Burmese could be pretty dangerous on this map too. As Burmese, Bender will have... Let's actually take a look at this because I want to point this out. So as Burmese, Bender knows where all of the relics are at the start of the game. Somehow the Burmese just know that. Don't ask me how. Maybe they have Indiana Jones on their team. Alright, so he knows where all the relics are. So basically, Bender knows that his opponent is over here. Because he knows that the relics have to avoid his opponent. I end up with Graveyards Game 2 a lot, getting kind of bored of it. I don't know, I guess people just like Graveyards. It's kind of a safe map. It's pretty... It seems the most standard-ish map that's in this map pool. It's something that people feel comfortable with. It's got large forests, you can wall on it. So Bender has a good idea of where the Otter one is. Maybe Bender will make this interesting, or maybe people will just try and play this like 4 lakes and just build a dock and contest the water. Not sure. We'll have to see. I think Bender is an aggressive player, though. Otterone working on pushing these Ibex in. I don't know how good of a choice Ibex is for Indian jungle. I have to ask Jasuki about why he picked Ibex. Ibex are really more of a temperate or boreal or desert creature. You know, an Ibex is the kind of critter that lives in some place where there's not a lot of food, where it's a little bit hostile. And a creature like an Ibex will generally lose out to some bigger, meaner creature that lives in warmer temperatures. So it's kind of an interesting choice here. I mean, the thing, you know, it says Ibex, right? But I interpret that to mean just any generic wild goat, essentially. And the game has since added different types of wild goats, too. But there's all kinds of maps with, you know, strictly speaking, where Ibex are not appropriate, and yet you see them featured there. Because those maps are appropriate for wild goats, and the game just doesn't have a variety of wild goat. He banned everything with water, so I figured I should ban land-only maps. Aha. Yeah, I think Bender... Yeah, Bender not going for water here either. He hates water. Who can blame him? Water in Age of Empires. It's badly in need of an update. It's very, very outdated. It's basically rock, paper, scissors. I think the devs have done a good job with water. I'm very critical of the devs, as you guys know. I think that I think they're very busy. Let's just put it this way. They're very busy, and Microsoft is structured. You know, they're very structured to kind of capture their marketing department, to capture their audience. I call it regulatory capture, right? It's when a group that's supposed to be the supplier ends up calling the shots because they're paying the money toward it. So it's kind of a big problem in politics, but in this case, I do feel that Microsoft has a lot of influence over the content creators. Not all of them, but many of them, by sponsoring tournaments and such. And I think that means that certain things go unaddressed for a long period of time. But I will say this. I think that, number one, the last update was amazing. You know, adding the ES maps in an official capacity, not these ones, as well as some other really positive changes. But I wanted to say that I think that the devs have done a decent job with water for what it is. Like, obviously water could be reimagined to become a lot more interesting in Age of Empires, but you're going to have people that are purists about the game that really feel that water shouldn't change too much from the original concept. Because it is very outdated, right? It's rock, paper, scissors. But you go and changing that too much, and all of a sudden you're going to find yourself playing a different game, right? Yeah, I know that 1300s can push deer, 1200s can push deer. It's even 1100s can push deer. I think the level of play has significantly increased now. People have much better mechanics than they used to, and you know, I actually do think that the game is in a good state right now. I think that maps, including alchemy maps as well as official maps, are starting to they're designed so that you basically have to pretty much do something in every age in order to keep up. And if you don't, there's a good chance that you're going to get whacked. I rejoined the ranked ladder a few weeks ago, and it's just like, oh, it's so hard. It's so hard to play the way that I used to. You know, the way that I used to play, I would just do nothing. I would just stonewall up and ignore the opponent. But people are just so good at punishing that now. And I still can't get back to the original ranking that I had at the end of 2023. Bender's build deserves some commentary here. He is doing a pretty clean, fast castle. It's true. It's true. So I think Bender wants those Aram buys. He's coming over here to go on the stone. I would love to see Bender castle drop, like right here. Castle drop these fish resources and the dock. But Bender could be a real menace with Aram buy. And I don't think that the Otter one knows about it. Oh, yeah, okay. So the Otter one does know about it. He knows that Bender's heavily on stone. He knows that Bender hasn't gone to the pond. So he can only assume that Bender is going fast castle. The Otter one has made an archery range, but it doesn't look like the Otter one has made any archers. Otter one has not made any naval military at all, but he's sending 2 villagers forward. Alright, they're just fishermen. So I guess Otter is just bracing himself for the onslaught that will be Bender's attack in Castle Age. And let's check Bender's point of view. To be honest, this is probably how I would be playing this map too. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's what I would do. I'd be like, screw water, I don't want anything to do with that. Jasuki, welcome. So Bender has the stone for a castle, but he's going to build the castle defensively. He's going to build a conservative castle, it looks like. Look at all these villagers going back. He's going to build it right here. Building a castle here protects his gold, it protects his wood. And what's this? He's got 4 villagers going... Okay, these are berry pickers. Bender is doing a phosphoru. I'm not sure what a phosphoru is. He really likes those all-ins. Oh, phosphoru is what you call an all-in strategy. Try to match FC usually best versus phosphoru once you realize. So phosphoru is a... Make sure that I understand correctly. Phosphoru is a player that likes all-in strategies. Is that right? Judging from your commentary. The Otter one. Does he have fletching yet? He does, but it's only 2 archers. Alright, so the castle goes up for Bender. And he's going to be... He's starting to make Aram buys now. Early FC into Castle Age unique unit with very limited eco. Phosphoru is a player that only plays really all-in strats. So the problem with Arambai is that they're super inaccurate. They do have base 12 attack, which is pretty good. Now, Bender seems to be mass-producing these Arambais, but the Otter one has crossbowmen already. And crossbowmen are pretty good against Arambai. Arambai are considered cavalry archers by the game. And with Arambai, part of that cost, both in material and in train time, part of that is coming from their mobility. And when the Arambai are being created to just move like 12 tiles to fight an invading army, their mobility is not really something that you need. So you're paying for something that you don't need. Now, if Bender were to come over here and try to raid the fishing ships or hit the economy, he does have a random villager inside Otter's town for whatever reason, which I don't understand. I think Bender's pretty well defended here. Looks like he just relocated. He really wants to fight off these crossbows. I think he just needs to leave. I think he just needs to leave, or he needs to build a siege workshop if these crossbows are truly unacceptable. But he needs to get some economy damage in. He needs to bring those Arambai right around and park them right here. And let's see if he knows about that, actually. Does he know about that? Yeah, he knows about that lumber camp. So that's where he's got to go. Okay, he's going to kill the fishing ships instead. That works too. A little harder to assure damage, though, because they can just sail to the center of the map. So now he's got a... Oh, he actually does... They apparently they like throw darts or something, so the darts aren't that accurate. Otter one's still got his little ball of crossbows. So this castle actually turns out very expertly placed from Bender, because Otter cannot really get in here and do damage with the crossbows. Yes, a player who invented this build order and made it to 2K3. Alright, so forward siege workshop from Bender. I think Bender needs to come over here. The Otter one is literally, the Otter one is literally taking this for free. The Otter one has not really... I guess he's got, to Otter's credit, he does have an outpost here. So it will alert him to the arrival of these Arambais. Otter one Castle Age 2, though. I don't know if the Phosphoru strats work against somebody that also goes Fast Castle. Bender closing it. He really wants to eliminate these crossbows. I don't share his hatred of these crossbows. All right, he is finally going to clean them up, but those crossbows have bought the Otter one a lot of time. I bet the Otter one makes like 2 more monasteries and just converts all the Arambai. That's what I would do. But then again, that's my solution for everything. Monk rush. Alright, so now Bender is going to push in on the Otter one's base. Come on, Bender. He knows that the Otter one is taking wood here. Why not show up here? Okay, the Otter one is evacuating. He's going to plug this hole in his wood line, and he's going to create a new wood line, probably back here. Yep, the town center. And that house is finished. Persians don't have sanctity, it's iffy. Ooh, that's true. I forgot that Otter is playing a terrible civ. It happens to the best of us. But he's still trying, actually. He's still making the monks. Maybe Mangonel is the best choice then for the Otter one. He does get a conversion. He gets a conversion. And lots of sustained fire from the crossbows. And it looks like Bender is out of Arambai. And calls the GG. The Otter one able to use the dock to get enough of a surplus and still get Castle Age. The Otter one was aware of what Bender was doing, so maybe he intentionally didn't do everything he wanted to do in Feudal Age and clicked up earlier. Not really sure what the Otter one's choices were. Bender very all-in build. A fun build. They did do work. Let's take a look at the statistics. Those were some surprisingly quick games. I guess that's the way Bender likes it. So Otter with more food and wood collected, and gold collected. Bender with more stone collected. Makes sense. He built a castle. Bender 1420 Castle Age time on this map. That's pretty good. That's like a 23 pop fast castle right there. Otter with a better Feudal Age time. Map explored 46%. Otter with better research. Otter 46 villagers to Bender's 27. Bender with 1 castle. Yeah, I don't. Based on watching Bender play, I think that first game he wasn't planning on the river being impassable, and I think that having to build a dock and a transport ship messed him up. So now we'll look at Favre Forever versus Oladushek, but first I'm going to remind you of their draft, their civilization draft. So remember that Favre Forever has the options of Chinese, Lithuanians, Magyars. Oladushek has the options of Sicilians, Huns, and Italians, which I love this. Alright, so their first is played on Prairie. He was half an hour late. Uh-oh. Well, thank you for playing him. Alright, so, Prairie, what is it? This map was made by TechChariot. This map is... We had a similar map to this in a previous season of Alchemy League. A Greek season. This is more of a multi-biomed approach. This is a dry rainforest version of it. And you start with 2 scouts, just like traditional Prairie. I think that the reason you start with 2 scouts on traditional Prairie is because traditional Prairie truly is 100% flat. This version of Prairie's got little outcroppings and stuff. So The reason that you have the 2 scouts on something traditionally flat is because in case your opponent gets the first hit with the scout, you run away to your other scout and then you outnumber him 2-1. And so it's a little bit more dynamic, and you can afford to have a perfectly flat map and still have kind of an interesting scout fight. It's not like Arena, which is completely flat, and whoever gets the first hit is basically always going to be the big dog unless somebody moves a villager out or something like that. Oh, yes. Overlay. Do I just get 0 points now if my opponent doesn't show up? Yes. Because the alternative is to give somebody points for doing nothing except being there. However, if your opponent doesn't show up, then it does not affect your win percentage. So the results are calculated based on, you basically take the win rate that you actually achieved and you divide it by the win rate that you should have achieved. So if your opponent doesn't show up, then simply no results are recorded for that set. That set does not impact the outcome of the win rate comparison. Alright, so Favre Forever is playing as the Chinese. I like the Chinese. I think they're a good civilization. The food on Prairie is light. So maybe Favre Forever is thinking playing as Chinese. His technologies will be cheaper and he'll be able to afford more stuff. He starts with extra villagers, so he's got these extra villagers working on the deer. Maybe those extra villagers working on the deer will help him click up faster. Oladushek is playing as the Red Huns. He does not need to build houses, which is a big savings on the map. He's still working on pushing his deer in. He's also moving his turkeys under the town center as well. But it's very easy to run out of food on this map. I'm not really sure I understand what you're saying, Otter. Otter, in all seriousness, what you should do, and this is not to be dismissive of what you're saying, but, pull up the last sheet for the results from Alchemy League Season 7 Sprint 1, because we're on Sprint 2 right now. Pull up the sheet from that, find your name, and go across each column and see what each column represents, and see if you can sort of reproduce those numbers from that column, and so you understand how the calculation works. Is Oladushek going to try to push these deer in? Oh, looks like he is. Yeah, people are starving on this map. Favre Forever already on his way up to the feudal age. No, it has no impact if your opponent doesn't show up. But if your opponent doesn't show up, then the significance of other games that you do play becomes greater. So for instance, let's say that you need to win 75% of your games in order to win something in the league. If you end up only playing 6 games because one round your opponent doesn't show up, then you're more sensitive to losing any one game. Oh no, Oladushek. So he loses his scout, and now Favre Forever is out for blood because he knows he outnumbers Oladushek. However, it does also mean that if you ace those 6 games, then you're in really good shape. There could be some people out there, and Otter's talking about being overly nice. There could be some people out there that'll be like, I've got, one, based on where I'm at in the ladder of Alchemy League, I've got one really hard opponent, and I've got 3 opponents that are not so hard. So what I'm going to do, there could be some people out there like that are like, I'm going to skip my match with this one player. I'm going to be constantly unavailable during that round, and I'm going to not schedule with them, and I'm going to try to win. I'm I'm going to try to really focus my time and effort on these 3 other sets, and I'm going to try to win those. So Father Forever is Feudal Age. He is doing a Scouts build. He's just building up the Scouts now. There's not a lot of food available. Oladushek is actually going for Archers, which is interesting. So if, hypothetically, if somebody did that, they would take not only an admin penalty from being found at fault for not scheduling, the average elo of their opponents would decrease, and therefore, even though their win rate would be high because they'd be playing easier opponents, because they skipped out on the harder opponent, the win rate required for them to win money would also increase. Would it increase by as much? Probably not, but there's also the admin penalty there. So it's not a clear-cut way of... And actually, I don't think that it works. I ran some initial numbers on it originally. I don't think that it works. I don't think that anybody could shirk their difficult opponents to get ahead in Alchemy League, because it decreases the average skill of the people that you're playing, so therefore it lowers... It increases your expected win rate, and it gives you admin penalties. So both players are trying to get an in on each other. Oladushek has shown up with some archers. The purpose of these archers, I think, is just to deny walling opportunities. He could actually slip through here. I'm not sure why he hasn't. Meanwhile, Father Forever is looking for damage on Oladushek, but Oladushek has small walled his gold miners, and he's got enough spearmen out and about around these lumberjacks. He's got some archers in his archery range too. Alright, Father Forever adding a palisade gate here to keep Oladushek out. Father is critically not on gold at all. I don't know if this is a calculated... I mean, Oladushek knows where these golds are, so he's going to be keeping an eye on them. But I guess Father Forever has really come back with the intention of crushing Oladushek's attacking army. Oladushek realizing Father Forever's intentions now, and I think that Father Forever is going to succeed. Yeah, he does manage to succeed. Oladushek not paying attention. And now that Father Forever has crushed this, he can head back out across the map and threaten Oladushek's town again. The example that you give with Pacho, I think, is a good one. Yosoi Pacho has not played 1v1s recently. I think he just, he prefers to play on a different setting, which is good. And previously it was kind of a requirement for Alchemy League that you be continuously active in ranked games so that we could keep a monitor on your progress, what you were gaining in skill, and we could accurately seed you. And Pacho was one of those players that was not playing many 1v1s. So we really wanted to design a system where people don't have to keep playing 1v1s, to keep updated on their skills. So that's why at the beginning I was showing a new way, like a correction factor for league performance. So Pacho could choose not to play 1v1s because maybe he really would prefer to focus his time on Alchemy League. But if that is the case, then we have a correction for that. We'll look at the people, the types of skills, the types of people that he has beaten in the past in Alchemy League. This is a good find for Father Forever. He's going to get one villager. No, he does not get that villager. Oladushek's army swarming in. So anyway, keeping track of the types of opponents that a player beats in Alchemy League, and then adjusting the skill that was calculated from their last season that they played in Alchemy League based on that. So we should be able to account for that pretty easily now. We should have a more accurate method. Oladushek was really... had to migrate to a new woodline. Father Forever has had a really ambitious walling project. Look at this. He's walled all the way to the edge of the map. This is getting far enough away from your base that you really want to double palisade this, just because you're never going to get out here in time to stop it if your opponent does get over here. And you've already walked all the way out, so you might as well. This side is still open. Oladushek coming over for an attack. So Father Forever really doubling down on the Scout Skirm build. Oladushek really doubling down on the Archers and Scouts build. Yeah, Oladushek with a stable as well. These guys are going to have a little battle over the prairie in the center. Center area does contain some extra deer, but it's largely a wide open space. So plenty of maneuvers there. And Oladushek has not, he's not gone the wall route. Oladushek has gone the route of making a huge army. I don't really see Oladushek wall very much. Make a huge army with towers. He's got a tower on his gold, but he's got not as much protection for his wood line here. Favre not diving that. He's kind of afraid of it. Oladushek seeing this large investment in skirmishers from Favre Forever, and so he added that second stable. And I guess Oladushek really wants to just kind of debate these scouts into getting close enough to the archers to just take this damage. He doesn't want to move his archers in because of the skirmishers. Alright, but it looks like they are going to finally fight. And the fight goes well for Oladushek. I don't think he even lost... I didn't see a single villager go down there. And it makes sense that the fight went well for Oladushek. It happened at his doorstep. Favre Forever... Let's see how close Favre Forever is to clicking up to the next age. He's kind of invested more in... No, these guys are both like... This is Feudal Age, and my opponent needs to die. He's getting the scout armor. He's making more scouts. It's always fun to see the scouts plus archers build, or the scouts plus skirmishers build. But the archers are even more fun. So Oladushek, detecting that a spearman is hot on his trail, runs off. He's got the archers here to deal with the spearman. And Oladushek is closing in on it. Favre Forever will know that this ball of archers is very close to him. He needs to get up his scout numbers, or this is going to be really rough. He's going to get taken off of gold. Oladushek can just swing right around these houses or come straight through. And Favre has gotten the scout armor. I don't think Oladushek... No, Oladushek has not gotten the armor for the scouts. He's gotten the attack. And Favre Forever has gotten the armor, but not the attack. Which makes sense, because he's dealing with more archers. So you look at the scout armor. It's 3 with the upgrade. 3 pierce armor with the upgrade. And these archers deal 5 damage total. So that means that instead of doing 3 damage, they only do 2 to these scouts now. Because they got the armor upgrade, based on the difference. Alright, so Favre Forever can't really fight this. He's got scouts knocking on his door. He's got 2 more scouts coming up from the south. And he's building up an army of scouts. He sees a spearman, though. It scares him a little bit. And he's got some scouts in this stable, too. He's gonna build another. I'm gonna try to lure this spearman back under the... so that the skirmishers will attack it. Trying to lure Oladushek under his town center. But it looks like we got another big fight on Favre Forever's doorstep. And Oladushek comes out on top. He's just got so many Hunnic scouts. The Huns, their stables work faster, and he is continuously producing from 2. But Oladushek desperately needs a lumber camp on this wood line. I guess he'll have to build one soon. Look at that! Look at this big old feudal brawl. I mean, how often do you see this in Age of Empires? Lots of really injured units. Is Favre Forever finally going to come out on top? It looks like he is going to clean up Oladushek's attacking army. But neither player... Well, actually, hold on. Let me just check this now. Yeah, neither player is close to getting up to the next stage. Oladushek adding another archery range. But this has been quite the brawl. I have to say. It's been a lot of fun casting. So the good news for Favre, as Chinese, is that he could get different attack, different armor upgrades. He's gotten the attack upgrade now for his scouts. Oladushek added a fresh spearman or 2. Because he's Chinese, the technologies are cheaper. And we got another fight happening outside of Favre Forever's town. And this time Oladushek with the advantage, pushing Favre Forever back. Favre Forever has added another stable, so he's got 3 stables, which makes sense because not as fast to produce as the Huns. And I think Favre Forever is probably producing from all 3 of them. Yeah, there's a scout. There's a scout. And we just saw a scout pop out of this one, so he'll probably queue up another scout when he is able. Hey, Crazy Joe, thank you. Fun watching and listening, too. The Otter one says, I hate the fact that I get this as a map 1 versus Maxi out of all people. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a lot of luck involved with Alchemy League sometimes. That's kind of the fun part, right? It's random which opponent you get for which round. And Otter is saying that it just so happens that the map of the round that... Because I think this is map of the round for like round 8. And it just so happens that Otter is against Maxi on round 8. Well, Maxi's going to have a good time with you on that one, Otter, I've got to say. So Oladushek trying to take this stable down. Favre Forever patching up his overchopped wood line here. He's taking another fight versus Oladushek. Wants to build another stable here to replace the one that just went down. Can he get a circlement on the archers? He doesn't quite get the circle. Oladushek with a big numbers advantage here. I think Favre Forever should pull back, but he's really trying to get this stable up, and he's trying to keep these gold miners safe as well. You know, Favre Forever spent a lot of time and effort walling this, and I don't really know that it's given him much value, because Oladushek hasn't really tried to attack him from over here or come in this way. And this stable is denied. This is looking like Oladushek's game here. Oladushek very smartly recognizing the openness of the map, the value. He's got 3 Hunnic stables working. He's adding another archery range, and Favre Forever is going to add the stable back here, but he's struggling to keep up with Oladushek's scout production. Otter is playing Maxi in 2 hours. Favre Forever building a tower out of desperation here, but Oladushek whips around. And I think this is Oladushek's game here. I think he's finally broken Favre Forever's back on this one. The Hunnic Terror. Oladushek showing us the Hunnic Terror on Prairie. It's not over yet. Favre Forever ungarrisoning his stables. Coming out here for a fight. Favre Forever nowhere near Castle Age. And neither is Oladushek. In fact, Oladushek is just now getting Wheelbarrow. That tells you how strapped he's been for resources. Alright, Favre Forever going to build this watchtower. It is 54 villagers for Oladushek to 49 for Favre Forever. Oladushek sacrificing his army. He doesn't care. He just needs to build up this villager advantage over Favre. And he has a 5 villager advantage so far. So this tower is going to kind of prevent Oladushek from coming in here too far. Going to keep these villagers safe. And I think Oladushek is slowing down. I think he's clicking up to the Castle Age. I could be mistaken. No, he's preparing an infantry switch. What do I know? Maybe an infantry switch. He's getting the armor for it. Maybe it's just for the spearmen, to help the spearmen survive a little bit better. So four Chinese stables versus 3 Hunnic stables. You know, this is kind of playing out like Land Madness. I don't watch a lot of competitive AoE 2, but I have not seen many games that have been an all-out scout and archer brawl. Favre Forever himself adding archers. I think he didn't really prioritize archers before, because he's just like, you know, I just need to kill spearmen, but he's recognizing that Oladushek's archers over time have just done so much damage. He's going to add some of his own. Running back, there's too many spearmen, a lot of weak scouts here. Look at Oladushek's production queues. Both these players are just adding more and more stuff. Favre Forever coming in maybe to pick off some reinforcements. Got a lot of scouts here. Both players have bloodlines. Oladushik not paying attention. Uh-oh. Alright, there he goes. Oladushik needs to refresh his lumber camp. Oh no! He builds a barracks instead. Alright, come on, Oladushik. Right here. The villagers are going to go out and chop some wood. He's really... Oh, he really is like... Both these players. It's just crazy. Alright. Come on, Oladushik. Build a lumber camp. He's going to... I guess he's focused on microing this down. He's got another wave of archers coming. Wants to goad Favre forever into taking a fight under this archer fire, but Favre not comfortable with it, pulling back. Too many archers there. He's going to mass up his archers of his own. Or try to wait until the armies are separated, which is like right now. Alright, Oladushik is preparing an infantry switch. I knew it! He's going man-at-arms. He's going man-at-arms, boys. I love this. He's got a lot of extra gold, actually. Maybe because he set up to make more archers. Wait, looks like he canceled his man-at-arms? No, he got it. There it is. He just finished it. We got 42... About 42 feudal units fighting on the field right now. And he's queued up another round. What's Favre Forever up to? He is on his way to the Castle Age, boys. Alright, Favre Forever is on his way to the Castle Age. I'm sorry, I missed it. So that explains why Favre Forever is slowed down a little bit. If Favre Forever gets to the Castle Age, Oladushik will be in big trouble. So Oladushik going to come around. He needs to threaten the gold. I wonder if Oladushik can tell that Favre Forever is up. Good luck in 2 hours, says Crazy Joe. Maxi's done really well this season of Alchemy League. He's taken some games off of some potent players, for sure. Yeah, I don't think Oladushik can tell that Favre Forever is up. If he could, he'd probably be over here on the gold. He wants to go there. Alright, Favre Forever evacuating the gold. Now Oladushik sees that his opponent is in Castle Age. Hunnic Man-at-Arms Rush, babies. Hunnic Man-at-Arms Rush. Pride will cast it live. What is Pride? Maybe I should go check that out. Is Pride a streamer, I'm assuming? Knight's coming out for Favre Forever. It makes sense. He's Castle Age. It's true. I don't do live casts. I would have declined. I love it. It's just maybe the game has improved a lot and I should reconsider it. But I just have had no luck with live casting in the past. Juicy, my friend Juicy didn't have much luck with it either. Alright, so Favre Forever is Castle Age. Is Oladushik planning on being Castle Age? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think Oladushik has any intention of going to the Castle Age at all. What does Favre Forever's gold situation look like? I guess he's got some gold back here. And he is taking his gold up here, but it's somewhat threatened. It's somewhat threatened. So Favre Forever with the technology advantage, Oladushik with the numbers advantage. And it looks like numbers are winning. Oladushik just needs to go shut down this gold. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. Because he's waiting for some more numbers. Let's see Favre Forever. What's his economy look like? He's got 10 on gold. He's got a decent production cube, but knights are expensive. 72 villagers for Oladushek, 57 for Favre Forever. Alright, he's going to try to close this off now. Scouts in on the gold. I really think Oladushek could just come up here and end the game now. But, you know, he is the 2K player and I'm not. Yeah, I don't think Oladushek is going to go Castle Age this game. Since you don't... Oh, a caster. Should I share the link? Yeah, this is a pretty wild game. Yes, share the link in promotion for sure. Let the people know about it. And I'm glad that I got this cast, you know, that I would have casted this set first. So that I could be there. And I could see it. And anybody that would be watching me could be there as well. Or probably vice versa. So that people will watch me because they don't have to watch Otter playing against Maxi. It seems like Favre Forever just can't get the attack that he wants. He sent some villagers forward. Is this a town center? What is this? So the knights, these knights are +2, I would assume. No, they're only +1. Well, that explains why they're going down to the archers a little bit more. A lot of injured knights here. Oladushek needs to take time to micro. Remember that Oladushek is like building a thriving Hunnic economy out here. You know, he's relocated his lumber camps. He's relocated his gold. His gold used to be here. He's got a big, sprawling farming simulator going on, and he still has time to do all of this. So now he's coming in with the scouts looking for some damage back here. I guess these archers are heavily outnumbered. I think he is going to destroy Oladushek's archer mass. But he's also scout rushing Favre Forever at the same time. Oladushek's villager count is 78 in the feudal age. Favre Forever is at 55. Look at how broke Favre Forever is, too. I don't think he's had over 200 of any one type of resource for the past 20 minutes. And Oladushek is the same way. Oladushek is on his way up to the Castle Age now. Holy crap. I didn't think he would do it. I did not think that Oladushek would go Feudal Age. Or from the Feudal Age to the Castle Age. Favre keeps on coming out here. I'm not sure why. If it was a misclick, if he's just getting worn down by Oladushek. Accidentally sent some villagers forward. Well, this is going to complicate the statistics a little bit. Let's say that Oladushek does win in Castle Age. Would it be Castle Age units that won the game? I think you consider the amount of time that Oladushek and effort that he invested in the Feudal Age on this map. I'm not really sure that I care what happens in Castle Age, right? Oladushek was all in on Feudal Age as far as I'm concerned. Alright, so Favre finally bought the stone that he needed to build a town center here. And he wants to build a town center on this gold to kind of secure this gold and get Oladushek off of him. But Oladushek running back here with the scouts and finally reaching the Castle Age. And that means Hunnic Knights from Oladushek. And he is eager to make those knights. And he's got the armor coming in as well. Can go over to Oladushek's point of view. Yeah, we see the armor, we see the knights queued up. Favre Forever canceling the town center because he knows it's a bad idea with Oladushek in Castle Age. Okay, here he comes to build it. Maybe he didn't cancel, we just can't see it because we're looking at Oladushek's point of view. Oladushek has gotten the pikeman upgrade. Hunnic pikeman, who would have thought it? Favre Forever abandoning the construction of this town center for now. Heading back to regroup. He's got his +2 knights here. Favre Forever, Oladushek does. Favre Forever has not gotten +2. I'm not really sure why. Maybe he's just been strapped for resources the whole time. Seemed like it would have paid for itself by now, though. I agree. I think this is a very epic game. Alright, so Father Forever coming here. I think he is going to finish this town center finally. Oladushek is taking his foot off of the gas. I'm wondering if there's going to be a tech switch for Oladushek. Or maybe he's regrouping to do something else. But Oladushek literally spent the past 25 minutes brawling with Father Forever in the front of his base with feudal age units. And now Oladushek has changed the strategy. And he's going to go to night raiding instead. I think Oladushek should have prioritized this gold a little bit more, but we are omnipotent as well. We see everything, plus maybe there's some reason he couldn't spare the troops for this gold. But Oladushek should be going... I don't know what he should be doing, actually. What do you guys think Oladushek should do? He's very strapped for resources. It's 87 villagers for Oladushek versus 55 for Favre Forever. And some of Favre Forever's economy is idle, because Oladushek is perpetually raiding him. Otter agrees, thinks that this gold is very critical. Oh yeah, there's some pikemen here trying to get into Favre Forever's woodline. Wonder if the monk will convert them. Oladushek down here knocking at the door, trying to get in through that wall. Favre Forever now responding to these pikemen instead, sending the knights up. Okay, the pikemen do manage to kill the monk. Favre Forever on 2 town centers. Oladushek is clowning it on 1, but he is adding another town center now, which is probably a good idea. His opponent has a lot of knights, so he's got to keep these villagers safe. So Favre Forever sees these knights are on their way. He's throwing down some quick walls here. It's kind of an awkward place to wall with this rock. Okay, he does manage to get it up in time. But Oladushek is all over him. What happens when this gold runs out for Favre Forever? I guess he could come back here and take this gold. But this area is not fully secure right now. And he does have this gold here, but it's, again, it's up front. Forward siege. I know, Crazy Joe. We need some forward siege. Oladushek should come forward and build a siege workshop here. Mangonel. But he's instead focusing on taking down this monastery. Doesn't want Favre Forever sneaking up a relic victory. Or he hates the monks. I don't know. Favre Forever deciding to attack Oladushek's army, try to save the monastery. Does not manage to get a conversion, it looks like, and Oladushek comes out on top. He's just got such huge Hunnic numbers here. Alright, there is a monk here. Oladushek will have to run away from. He's got a cavalry archer up here that he can use to threaten this wood line. And Oladushek again running to the back of Favre Forever's base. Is this open though? Favre Forever needs to... Uh-oh. Oladushek is in. This could be GG here. Finally. Yeah. And Favre Forever's like, whoops, forgot to quick wall that. And he finally calls the GG. Oladushek is victorious. What a wild game. I honestly can't believe that game. I don't know why Oladushek didn't go after this gold sooner. He may have felt that he couldn't spare the troops for it. But he just weakened Favre Forever enough to perpetually raid him in Castle Age. Until he resigned, Oladushek with 98 villagers against Favre Forever's 60. Wow. It's just a classic Oladushek masterpiece right there. Favre Forever with 350 kills to Oladushek's 250 kills. So Oladushek actually lost 350 units. And that's just crazy. And the game didn't even go to Imperial Age either. Holy crap. I mean, think about that. Those numbers for a game that ends in early Castle Age. Crazy. Buildings raised, 4 for Oladushek, Favre Forever with a single conversion. Oladushek, largest army of 45. Economy. Oladushek's economy larger than Favre Forever's. He had more villagers. He was less harassed. So, Oladushek getting to the Castle Age 10 minutes later than Favre Forever. But otherwise, basically from minute 8 to minute 39, they were both in feudal age, slugging it out. Oladushek with more map exploration and better research. Oladushek getting to a villager high of 98. Wow. What an awesome game. This is what Alchemy League is all about, boys and girls. If there are any girls out there. Alright, Shipwreck. This map was made by TechChariot, yours truly. Looks like we got the winter version. It's a remake of the Ensemble Studios map Shipwreck. It's kind of got this seaweedy and reef and frozen coastal area emphasis on the outside. You can cross these channels to get out there. There's more resources out there. Otherwise, you start, pretty close to your opponent. And we got the chickens. So we got these chickens as a non-pushable food source. You got 2 minor golds, like 1 3-tile gold and 1 2-tile gold. All the relics are on this island in the center, and of course you got the shipwrecks. Great fish marlins. It's sort of an interesting thing the way that the channels are set up here. The great fish marlins cannot be taken by villagers. They can't. You can walk across, but you can't get these great fish. You must build a dock. You can sort of see from the minimap how the different channels are arranged. A lot of fancy placeholder magic for that one. So we got Favre Forever playing as the green Lithuanians. And we got Oladushek playing as the red Sicilians. And Favre Forever's probably going to see those Sicilians, and he's going to know what's coming. He's headed out. Is he going to dock the far side? He is. So there are shorefish on the far bank. But, it's further away from your town, so there's a little bit more risk inherent. So you could take the oysters. He could take the shorefish here. And, of course, he can build fishing ships to go after the great fish marlins. So, yeah, this ring is not restricting. Oladushek and Favre Forever both know that. There are lots and lots of geese on this map, just kind of like a real-life reef area, all sorts of waterfowl. These geese are pretty pathetic. They only have 25 food in them apiece. Because I wanted to put a ton of them on here. I wanted to be like, well, you know what? This is a coastal area. There's a ton of waterfowl, and they're not that big. So let's put lots of low-food geese on the map. Looks like Oladushek is coming out to dock as well. Same thing. So what kind of strategies are we going to see against these guys? Lithuanians make lots of sense, and here's why. They've got a good instadock. They're a good hybrid build type civilization, good on hybrid maps. But also all the relics are on this island in the center. 5 relics, right? So, Favre Forever might be looking at this and saying, I can build a monastery right here in Castle Age and pick up 3 relics, and Lithuanians get extra attack on their cavalry and unique unit from controlling relics. So it makes a lot of sense. Oladushek is Sicilians. Sicilians are going to go for Donjon Rush probably, or Castle Drop. Either way, Oladushek has the capacity to be a massive pain in the rear, and I think that's what he's going to do on this map. And Favre Forever, he knows it. So Favre Forever picking up some more geese. This area, I know that this area looks like it is navigable, but it is not. It is dry land area, just like the traditional map. The traditional map, I think, also did have maybe a few lakes out here. Actually, I don't think it did. This map was redone for by the devs in an official capacity, which I think we inspired. I like some things about this map better than the one that the devs did. Food is super hard to get on this map, hence Lithuanians plus 100 food. Oh, that's a good point, Otter. Yeah, food is scarce on the map. So I like the fact that the crossings are a little bit more intuitive. It's easier to see on the official version of the remade Ensemble Studios map. But our version like totally goes all in on like the coastal setting, you know, having essentially a reef scenario out here. And the remade version of the map looks more traditional, like looks more like Highland and everything. You know, green grass, tall hills, trees. Whereas we really go and we're really leaning into the reef look out here. Both players on their way up to the feudal age. Favre Forever is going to be there first. Oladushek sending three villagers forward. I'm not sure what this is. Oladushek could do the funniest thing ever right now and house wall this villager in. Favre Forever house walling the villager because he doesn't want... What is Oladushek doing? Favre Forever sees this. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Maybe it was a misclick. Oladushek then looping around with the villagers. I guess he's tied up 4 of Favre Forever's villagers with 3 of his own. So it's still a win for Oladushek even if he wasn't planning on it. But Oladushek could have done the funniest thing ever and walled this villager in next to this barracks so that he would have to destroy the house wall or delete the barracks or delete the villager to solve the problem. Alright, so Oladushek has built a donjon on his wood line. He is in the feudal age now. Presumably if Oladushek is going to do a donjon rush, he will go on stone at some point. But I don't see him on stone. He's adding another dock. He's got 2 geese out here. I think he's going to fight water first. Feels that his opponent has... Yeah, I mean, he's got 4 fishing ships. And Oladushek out here with his scout. Favre has not reacted yet. Alright, Favre has reacted now. Scout can't fight 2 villagers. Favre sending his own scout out there to deal with Oladushek. There's a lot of demolition ship potential on this map too. Because these channels are so narrow, units will bunch up when crossing them. Oladushek has somehow managed to separate these villagers. Now he's got to run away because Favre's scout is here. And he's going on to gold. I guess he doesn't want to take gold here. He changed his mind about it. Favre's going archers, Lithuanian archer. Oladushek's scout going down, but he has a fire ship here. And he needs to send that fire ship to deal with these fishing ships. It looks like Favre Forever is building an outpost here. He's very suspicious of Oladushek's motives. Feels that Oladushek could be coming out here on the stone. Let's take a look at Favre Forever's Fog of War. He has not really scouted Oladushek's stone. All the stone is on the outer ring. It's not on the inner ring. Uh-oh. And Favre Forever coming around here because he does not want Oladushek to sneak out this way and take stone. And this villager is going to go down, which is unfortunate for Oladushek. This archer helping the scout kill the villager. Now Oladushek does have a few sergeants. He's going to use those to clear up Favre's, or to kill one of Favre's archers and chase off the other. Yeah, see, look at Favre combing through here, looking for Oladushek's stone miners. Not going to find him. Does find some geese. He's going to send those to the corner of the map so Oladushek doesn't get them. No trust from Favre Forever. Look at him. He's looking for Oladushek's stone mining operation, but it doesn't exist. Oladushek's not on stone. Maybe he wants to be, though. Oladushek just sending some villagers now. I think Favre probably saw that. Let's see, where are those villagers going? No, I don't think Favre saw it, because if he saw it, he would be shadowing it with his scout still. Scout goes down for Favre. I think his other archer is running off. And now Oladushek maybe is in peace to do something with these villagers, but I'm not sure what. Insurgents. A mining camp. What's he mining? These oysters, maybe? No, that can't be right. Oh, there's stone right here. Okay. I'm blind. There's stone right here. I don't know why Oladushek didn't build that mining camp closer, but whatever. Okay, so Oladushek is doing his Donjon mischief. It just took him a little bit of time, and he had to keep it secret from Favre forever. So Favre forever does not know that Oladushek active over here. It's microing fire ships. Just lost a fishing ship. Alright, Oladushek. Yeah, he's got one weak fire galley. Is he going to send it back for repairs? Kind of looks like that's what he's doing. Favre forever sending 2 other fire ships. He's got some archers. Yeah, this is definitely the safer mining camp here. A full HP fire ship. Oladushek just made another one. He's going to try to focus fire this fire ship down first. Favre not helping. Okay, he notices now. Releasing some arrows into Oladushek's fire ship, but it's too late. Oladushek managing to kill those 2 fire ships, and now he can loop around and sink the rest of these fishing ships, I think. But it looks like he's keeping the demolition or the fire ships around because he wants to protect these fishing ships. Yeah, he's using them in a defensive capacity. So Oladushek building another donjon here. This is going to secure his second gold forward. Maybe he feels as though, you know, he wants to play this a little bit more passively. Favre forever is higher rated than Oladushek is, so that if he can get 2 games off of him, it'll really help his statistics toward the end. Help him get a better game, perhaps, or a better chance of winning. And what's this? Oladushek wandering around. Maybe going to build an outpost? I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on this. I'm not sure what this is. Alright, big naval battle. Now, ships can get hill bonuses, as you know, and there are hills in this region. Big surging waves that crashed over these reefs. And they're still in the process of falling. But Oladushek is going to win the naval battle. And Favre forever hiding his fishing ships, and Oladushek does not see them. Oladushek coming back toward the dock. Demolition raft could get a good hit against these fires. And it does, and I think it benefits from the hill bonus, too. But now, so will these fire ships. Oladushek spreading the fire ships out to take less damage to a future demolition ship. And yeah, Oladushek has built a house, and he's built an outpost out here to give himself some vision as to what Favre forever is doing. Blacksmith from Oladushek, but Favre forever is nearly up to the castle age. Oladushek has just clicked himself. These fishing ships returning to dock. I wonder if Oladushek will see them. He does, and I think that's the death of the fishing ships. Oladushek with another outpost. So let's take a look at Oladushek's point of view to see what he can see. He does not know about this villager yet. Or maybe he does and just kind of knows it's out there, but she's not really doing anything. Favre forever has not developed this area, which makes sense. He's Lithuanians. Probably wants that monastery, and he wants the relics in the center. But he's building a town center, actually, first. Help secure his gold. He's got some archers here picking on Oladushek's gold miners. This lady's going to go down. Oladushek doesn't notice. Alright, he notices now. Donjon arrows. Alright, so what's Oladushek going to do with Castle Age? Well, he's getting the range upgrade. And he's evacuated this stone. Favre Forever looping through here with some crossbows. And he's on just this gold for now. And Oladushek investing in the demolition rafts. Favre Forever crossing now. So Oladushek's demolition raft is not coming in time. That could have been a pretty devastating blow. But I think he's hoping that the crossbows will cross the channel at some point, and then he can blow them up. Or maybe he just wants to blow up the fire galleys. Not sure. Oladushek building another donjon here to keep this area safe. Maintain his access to the gold. And there are a few knights here in on Oladushek's economy. Another villager goes down. Oladushek is 6 villagers behind Favre Forever. So he needs to make something happen. He's also relocated his stone mining operation here. But it looks like Favre Forever is going to find it. So the attack on this house should give Oladushek an alert. And all 3 of those villagers go down. Another unfortunate loss for Oladushek. Favre Forever doing a lot of damage to him. Oladushek can't really seem to secure the stone he needs. There's no stone on this starting island because I didn't want people to like go fast castle and castle drop their opponents. All right, Favre Forever going to go for this relic. I think he's got 1 relic already. And he steps in range of the donjon, but I guess he's going to move the relic a little bit for those surgeons swipe him from behind. Oladushek does not want his opponent getting relics. Who would? And Oladushek has built a siege workshop, which I think is the right call. I think he's got enough secured wood and a secured gold with these donjons. Kind of having a hard time fighting out here. Got a demolition ship, though. Lurking, waiting for these crossbowmen to make a mistake. Favre Forever pushing Oladushek off. And Oladushek finally calling the GG, realizing he's too far behind. Favre Forever doing a good job of monitoring Oladushek's resource collection on this far bank. Doing enough damage to Oladushek to slow him down, to keep him from doing much. Or maybe Oladushek was just satisfied. He was just like, I'm really tired after that first game, and I don't think I can pull this one off. Alright, let's take a look at the statistics. Favre Forever with 34 kills, 28 deaths, raised 5 buildings, lost 3, converted 1 unit, the largest army of 19. He had more food, wood, and gold collected, but Oladushek with more stone collected. More feudal, or better feudal castle age times, more map exploration, more relics captured, relic gold, and better villager high. So there we have it, guys. 2 really great sets from Alchemy League. It was a lot of fun to cast them. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys joining, because I'm trying to find the correct overlay. Caught some really good games for sure. So we did Otter versus Bender, and then we did Oladushek versus Favre Forever. 2 really fantastic sets. So thank you guys so much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thank you.